Good evening, everyone. We do have some sports going on tonight, so we're ready for anything, but we may have some folks trickling in full baseball attire, so we are nothing if not flexible after COVID. Okay, so students, parents, and guests, I welcome you to our annual induction ceremony for Mu Alpha Theta, and this is the Byram Hills chapter of the national organization, and it's my pleasure to kick off tonight's events. Mu Alpha Theta, both nationally and here at Byram Hills, is dedicated to encouraging the continued pursuit of mathematics and service to others. You will hear more about the service component from our three co-secretaries that are here. But I do want to highlight one event that has become a true staple at Byram Hills, and that is the Mu Alpha Theta sponsored Puzzle Day. So some of you in the audience might remember back in January when your son or daughter was saying they were going to go on a Zoom on a Saturday for 3 hours and do math puzzles. And those puzzles were hard. But this year's teams were especially impressive, and we had over 100 students participating. So math fact for you, that's just over an eighth of the school. So I'm going to first introduce some important people that are here tonight. To my left, I have Julia Lucino. She is our president. We have Arielle Goldman, our vice president. To her left, we have G Goldman, our treasurer. And to my right, we have our three co-secretaries. We have Samantha Glusky. We have Arielle Goldman. And we have Jane Zeltner. So tonight's program is kind of sectioned into three phases. The first part is I'm going to bring up these folks to my left to tell you a little bit about the history of Mu Alpha Theta. Then we're going to have all of our senior officers come and give a little reflection on their math journey at Byram Hills. And then we'll enter into stage 3, which will be when we give out the certificates. So to start, I'm going to invite those three folks to my left to come tell you a little bit about the history of Mu Alpha Theta.
Good evening. My name is Julia Lucino, and I am the president of Mu Alpha Theta. Candidates, you're being presented for initiation into Mu Alpha Theta, the National High School and 2-year college mathematics honor society. It is an honor to be selected for membership in this organization, which has over 1,800 chapters across the United States and in many foreign countries. Each of you meets the requirements for membership, including work done with distinction in college preparatory mathematics. The Mu Alpha Theta National High School and Junior College Mathematics Club was founded in 1957 by Dr. and Mrs. Richard V. Andre at the University of Oklahoma. In his words, Mu Alpha Theta is an organization dedicated to promoting scholarship in mathematics and establishing math as an integral part of high school and junior college education. The name Mu Alpha Theta was constructed from the Greek lettering for the phonemes M, A, and TH, forming the word math. The principal purpose of Mu Alpha Theta is to stimulate a deeper interest in mathematics. Thus, it is desirable that you be given some brief instruction that may encourage you to consider the deeper meaning and historical significance of mathematics.
Good evening. My name is Arielle Goldman, and I am the Vice President of Mu Alpha Theta. Candidates, I begin with the oldest history of mathematics. The arithmetic, trigonometry, number theory, and astronomy of the Babylonians and Egyptians were far-reaching and contributed much to the progress in the ancient world. From calculating the circumference of the earth to the building of the pyramids, man began to apply mathematics. It took many years for the concept of the number 0 to develop, but it made possible the algorithms for addition and multiplication, which became important tools in human progress. Greek geometry involved a new emphasis on the power of reason and served as a foundation for philosophy. Archimedes found ways to determine areas and volumes and used mathematics to engineer machines. Next came the age of exploration and enlightenment. With the study of algebra and equations, logarithms, and probability, humans found a new language so they could understand the world around them as never before. With one overpowering stroke of genius, a young man in his early 20s, Sir Isaac Newton, invented calculus, discovered the law of gravity, three laws of motion, and how mathematics could predict the very orbits of the planets. With this mathematics, mankind had the tools needed to discover and explain, and a way to develop the technology that would bring man to a new age of scientific understanding. The applications of 20th century higher mathematics have radically changed virtually every aspect of our lives. In the physical and life sciences, new developments have contributed to understanding areas as diverse as mass-energy relationships to population growth. Business and economics have benefited from new theories in statistics and group analysis. Advances in medical technology and communications abound. Applications of new kinds of mathematics have arisen. Knot theory is being used to explain DNA structure, while topology attempts to understand the shape of our universe. Perhaps the most important development attributed to higher math is the field of computer science and the development of user-friendly computers, with its far-reaching applications to virtually every aspect of our lives. Mathematics has taken a large step from its role in the past decades as an obscure mental exercise of the few into a position of prominence in modern life, making our world both more comfortable and interesting. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm G Goldman, the treasurer of Mu Alpha Theta. It is time now to consider the future. The mathematics of the 21st century promises mankind even more. Telecommunications without wires, words, and pictures transmitted via algebraic codes. Rather than developing at a constant rate, discoveries build one upon the other, each leading to more innovative theories. Our knowledge grows exponentially, and its applications grow wider in scope. In summary, then, the mathematics of the future relies increasingly upon man's ability to imagine and create, as well as his ability to reason. Mankind awaits new mathematical and scientific theories to complete the work of the great men and women who have come before. Just as mathematical principles and research have helped us to understand so much, we anticipate further research and development to allow us to greater understand of the world around us. It is with proud recognition of your skill and interest in mathematics that we welcome you to Mu Alpha Theta. May we someday add your name to the list of great mathematicians who have helped the world advance.
So now we're on to stage two. So this is an interesting stage because it used to be where we had a guest speaker come, and some folks in the audience might remember some from years back. And then COVID hit, and this became kind of an unexpected transformation from COVID because, as I was thinking about it tonight, our last in-person ceremony was in 2019, which is crazy to think about that. And so one of the adjustments that we made for that first virtual ceremony was having the student senior officers just share some thoughts and reflections on their journey. And we found it was so successful and so much well received by the audience that we kept that tradition, and so it continues tonight. So the first person I'm going to invite up is Julia Lucino.
So first, I would like to congratulate all of the candidates on this great achievement. You should all be very proud of everything you've done to reach this milestone. Along the way, I'm sure you've all had ups and downs throughout your journeys in math, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about mine. I guess I've always thought about learning as a straight line progression, meaning you start out knowing nothing, and as you go on, you learn and eventually know more. But math wasn't always that way for me. When I took Algebra 2 Trig A my sophomore year, the concepts didn't come easily to me. In fact, I actually thought about dropping down to a different track. But I persevered, and I'm glad I did, because by the time I got to 11th grade, everything really started to click. One thing that really helped me was the way my teacher, Mrs. Pellegrino, taught the class. It was the first time in a math class where I was actually encouraged to try and fail, and I learned that mistakes are an important part of the learning process. This concept has helped me in all of my classes, and so has math. Whether it's using equations in physics and computer science, or using logic in writing my English essays, I have been able to apply concepts I have learned in math. And I couldn't be more excited to continue my journey with math in college next year. Who knows, maybe one of you will decide to become a math major too.
And now our Vice President, Arielle Goldman.
Mathematics is an integral part of our society, whether we realize it or not. Of course, its utilitarian purposes operate our machines, program our computers, and help us understand our economies, amongst many other uses. But I would like to focus on a different aspect of math that is not explored nearly as in-depthly. This past summer, as part of Byram's science research program, I spent 6 weeks in a lab in upstate New York. I intended to study a virus and a qualitative study nonetheless, so math was the last thing on my mind. Consequently, when the principal investigator threw molar conversions, microliter concentrations, and fluorescent quantifications at me, I was blindsided. I was faced with math, numbers, formulas, and equations in a way I had never experienced before. There was no math teacher I could turn to every time I hit a dead end. There was no answer key to check my work with. There were no YouTube videos to search up and follow their instructions. I was on my own. Instead of cowering in the face of this enormous challenge, I took it in stride. Through learning new methods of problem solving, acquiring new formulas, corroborating my work with that of previous studies, and never fearing to ask questions, I became a new type of mathematician. Not only was I able to function mathematically in a scientific lab, but more importantly, I learned the invaluable skill of facing a seemingly impossible task and evolving into a better student and person in spite of it. All thanks to math.
I'm going to switch sides now. Make Jake sweat it out. No, I'm just kidding. And we'll start with our secretaries to my right. We'll go with Sam Glusky first.
Good evening, my name is Sammy Glusky, and I'm one of the co-secretaries of Mu Alpha Theta. When I asked Ms. Pellegrino what to write this speech about, she gave me many recommendations. One of the ideas that she gave me was to talk about circles. So tonight I will be talking to you all about the circle. In case you didn't know, a circle is the set of all points in the plane that are a fixed distance from a fixed point. In ancient Greece, circles were seen as representations of the divine and natural balance because of their symmetry. Scientists even say that people prefer circles to other shapes because they're softer, provide safety, and because our brains have evolved to pay more attention to smooth, rounded shapes. Obviously, circles relate to math, and I can think back to my time in math classes at Byram Hills and find circles. Looking back at 9th grade geometry, we learned that the area of a circle equals pi r squared and did proofs that included circles. Moving on to Algebra 2 trig and precalculus, we use the unit circle to define right triangle relationships and easily calculate sine, cosine, and tangent of any angle. Now in calculus, we use the disk and washer method with circles to calculate the volume of a solid of revolution. However, circles are not just used in my math classes. Many of you might think that mathematics doesn't come up in your daily lives, but life would be very different without circles. None of the planets would exist in a circular shape. There would be no movement of wheels, cars, or bicycles on the road. Clocks, coins, dishes, and even pizza would look different without circles. But circles are not only essential to our lives, they also represent cyclic movement with no start and no end. Although my time in math at Byram Hills is coming to an end, because of circles, I know that I will take my knowledge, experiences in high school and in Mu Alpha Theta, and continue my journey along the circle, but never let it end.
Who doesn't love a circle, right? Actually, fun fact that I was reminded of in Sammy's speech, that circles or circular things and rounded edges are more pleasing to the eye. And Disney actually pioneered changing name tags. It used to be rectangular, and they were the first ones to make them curved because it was more friendly and appealing to their customers. Next up, we have Arielle Goldman.
Good evening. My name is Arielle Goldman, and I'm a co-secretary at Mu Alpha Theta. And when I was in first grade, my older brother would sit my twin sister and I down on the floor as he used his variety of brightly colored Expo markers to teach us how to carry the one in complicated addition problems. We sat there mesmerized at our genius brother and dreamed of the day we would finally be able to do it ourselves. A few years later, we felt like the genius older sisters, as we demanded our little brother to sit crisscross applesauce on the carpet while we carried the wand and showed him how to use his fingers to add and subtract. As the years went on, however, I began to develop a deep hatred for math. I've always been infatuated with the humanities, with my main interest being in history, English, and poetry. I adored writing short stories and spending the days in an imaginative world with the characters in books and movies. It felt as though my brain would never understand numbers as much as it could fathom words and works of art. When I entered 7th grade, I realized how important extra practice and one-on-one time with teachers was. I remember going in every morning before school and discussing with Ms. Pasquale how frustrated I was with my trouble visualizing things and easily getting through the problems. She suggested I use my creativity to solve the math problems, and suddenly math became so much easier for me. I was so stuck in memorizing formulas and doing work in my head that I forgot that the most wonderful thing about math is that problems can be solved in so many different ways. Within a couple of years, I was tutoring other young, impressionable students in math and teaching them to see the problems the way that would suit their minds best. Now, as I use multicolored Expo markers to make diagrams and multiplication tables, I can't help but smile at the idea of my older brother doing the same thing years before. Math, while always a struggle for me, has taught me hard work, grit, perseverance, and creativity. I'm very excited to continue my math journey in college and ultimately become a teacher who inspires students every day to see math in a new light.
And next up, we have Jane Zeltner.
Hi everyone, my name is Jane Zeltner. I am another one of the co-secretaries, and I wanted to talk quickly about Sesame Street. A little while ago, I was scrolling through Instagram, like any good math student would do when they have an AP Calculus test to study for, when I randomly came across a video clip from Sesame Street. In the scene, a waiter is trying to send an order to the kitchen, and he says, "I need fish, 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 fish." Ernie then chimes in and teaches the server how to count the fish, and he later repeats to the kitchen that he needs 6 orders of fish. This newfound knowledge of counting gave the excited waiter a much more concise and simple way to order. After viewing the Sesame Street clip, I started reflecting on my own experiences in mathematics, thinking about ways we really learn math. Of course, in this example, basic techniques such as counting help us to express our ideas and needs more clearly. And once we know this basic skill of counting, we learn to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And then all of a sudden, your teachers deem you ready for the scary fractions. And once you overcome the scary fractions, you're ready to include letters in your math equations and solve for x. And eventually, way down the road, you're told that it is time to take the limit of an integral as its upper bound approaches infinity, only to find that your shape has a finite volume yet an infinite surface area. Just the language of that sentence is confusing, never mind the math concepts. Anyways, throughout our time learning math at Byram Hills, we learned to slowly add on new ideas to an ever-growing foundation in order to discover new uses for mathematics and derive new ways to understand our world. And each time we learn something new, it may seem like the hardest concept ever. And then a few days later, you laugh about the fact that a specific topic brought you such trouble. Through learning math, we learn a new form of resilience that allows us to build and build upon ideas to make sense of our world, until one day you realize that you've quite literally learned everything from counting fish to functions leaning towards infinity.
Who among us, Jane, has not been plagued by an indefinite integral? And last but certainly not least, our treasurer, G Goldman.
Let me tell you, being a second semester senior is pretty rough. So, when I'm sitting in math class at 8:30 a.m., I ponder the importance of math. Why didn't I just sleep in? I wonder to myself. It's not like I'm going to be using the disk and washer methods when I'm 40 years old to find the volume between two functions that are rotated around a certain axis. In fact, I used to think about the same about many other math concepts, including, but not limited to, using modus tollens 5 times in a 30-line proof, graphing functions when there's a calculator in my backpack that could easily do so, and spending a day deriving the law of cosines, which I've only used probably about 5 times since. What is the purpose of my suffering? But then, I imagine a world without math. Starting thousands of years ago, mathematics was used to track the trade of goods on the Silk Road, trans-Saharan trade routes, and every other major trading network we have learned about in our history classes. Math was used to create everything: the goods being traded, the pyramids of Giza, the Roman Colosseum, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, and even this building that we are sitting in right now and the clothes we are all wearing. Try to imagine a world without mathematics. It's impossible. Civilization would simply not exist. And once we think about it, we realize that math is the foundation of civilization. Everything is based on math. Money, houses, roads, food, the internet, hospitals in our healthcare system, national defense, and much more would be impossible without mathematics. Even with COVID, calculus was necessary for predicting the spread of the pandemic, and later models were used to predict the flattening of the curve. No matter what field you choose to pursue as you grow older, math will surely be involved. Math is used in practically every career in some way. Whether you are coding, analyzing data and running statistical tests, investing in the stock market, baking wedding cakes, or engineering, math will play an integral part of your everyday life, no pun intended. To sum everything up, here's a quote from Brad Moffat. "Every human on the planet is a mathematician from birth. Some may have been poorly taught and no longer enjoy it as much, but everyone does it every time they think." I think this is an important message to remember, since it exemplifies how we may all perceive mathematics differently and achieve at varying levels. For me, while I may not use the washer method or modus tollens ever again, math class has taught me how to be a better thinker, problem solver, and overall student. Thus, I am certain that you can all go on to achieve great things in your life with mathematics, starting with this induction to the Mu Alpha Theta National Math Honor Society. Thank you and congratulations.
I'm now going to bring up our secretaries who will kick off our process of explaining and then distributing our prizes for all of you.
Congratulations. Each of you have demonstrated excellence in mathematics and portrayed the service and leadership qualities required of Mu Alpha Theta. Each of you is required to complete a rigorous application process that required not only a written application, but 10 hours of service activity, with at least 5 hours being through a Mu Alpha Theta sponsored activity. This year, your contributions have included homework help for the HCC middle school students, Jeopardy, decorations for Pi Week, a beautiful Mu Alpha Theta bulletin board, and of course, Puzzle Day.
Normally at this time, we would distribute the Mu Alpha Theta pins. We have switched now to tassel. In the tassels, you will see the colors of Mu Alpha Theta. Blue represents truth as unlimited as the sky. Gold shines as a symbol that mathematics is indeed a valuable treasure.
The Mu Alpha Theta official insignia represents, above all, a high point in the history of the world, an important relationship in mathematics, one that combines the mystery, the challenge, and the beauty of numbers with a simple geometric figure, the right triangle. Let this simple geometric proof of the Pythagorean theorem be a symbol for you and serve as a challenge to encourage your further enjoyment and study of mathematics. First off, we have Aiden Aldea Lustig. Ayaka Ammon. Lily Anshin. Drew Anickstein. Oscar Bachman. Sydney Black. Connor Bokel. Samara Brown. Gwyneth Brown. Calvin Kai. Allison Cooper. Olivia Corpina. Benjamin Curley. Rohini Das. Gemma Dean. Catherine DeGorges. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Gregory Decker. Abby Eichelbeck. Jacob Fenster. Amy Gagliardi. Samantha Gershon. Emma Goldenberg. Zachary Goldman. Jesse Goldstein. Jack Herman. Lily Hirsch. Nathan Ilani. Oh, God. Ilani. Charlie Jacobs. Alex Kahn. Sophia Kahn. Dale Kaiser. Adin Kirsch. Zermina Khan. Ethan Kimmel. Jake Klein. Jessica Lammers. Aaron Lest. Grace Lynn. Jonathan Manowitz. Alexandra Meltzer. Brooke Mozarski. Daniel, no. Dotsai. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Amanda Nepo. Vienna Uyang Christensen. Joseph Palikol. Gregory Parent. Jonathan Parent. Zachary Perro. Lauren Quintier. Rick Rosenthal. Isabel Sampierre. Samantha Shavitz. Casey Schreck. Jason Selkin. Sydney Shamus. Max Shayagani. Greg Schreier. Wes Siege. Sarah Tillinger. Sarah Tillinger. Sander Versteel. Aiden Weiss. Magdalena Welly. I would like to apologize again for all the names that I messed up there.
So congratulations to all of the students behind me. Welcome to Mu Alpha Theta. I would like to give a special thanks not just to our officers, but our leadership board that's listed on your program. They've also dedicated countless hours this year to making Mu Alpha Theta a success. And of course, all of you, I would like to thank the parents and families in this audience, because without your support and your encouragement of the pursuit of mathematics, we would not be here today. So please continue to support that mathematical inquiry at home and encourage your children to pursue the love and passion that they have for mathematics. I hope that tonight's events have helped to serve that purpose. And as a little brain teaser, in case anyone hasn't been in this on the social media, you can noodle on this on the way home. Do you think there's more doors or wheels? It's a hot topic if you haven't come across that in the world. Which is more, doors or wheels? So thank you to everyone here. Thank you.